Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tech Friday, the day before my birthday edition. Yay! I'm DC. You can find me everywhere under dclasair.com. That's DCLASAIR, exclamation mark DC in chat. Takes you to that website. And that's powered by Doros.to, which I'm an affiliate for. If you click my affiliate code, or my affiliate link, and use the code UWOO, you get 70% off for Doros Pro for 3 months. Code expires March 31st, so get in on it. It's Doros Pro is about $3 a month right now, so 70% off that. It's a pretty good deal. So yeah, if you enjoy it, please use my affiliate code. That'd be excellent. And I can't wait to see what they come up with with the other affiliate codes after this one expires. So use the thing. And my guest today is the absolutely wonderful Urban Bohemian. Herb, take it away.
Hi, I'm Urban Bohemian. You can pretty much find everything about me at urbanbohemian.com or Urban Bohemian on all of the socials, except on TikTok where you have to add a little underscore. But beyond that, yeah, I'm here. It's awesome. And I just want everyone to know that instead of just saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and starting, there was a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then a pause, then a go, which was not the procedure last time. So it's like he's trying to keep me on my toes from a production standpoint. All right. Like, you gotta find, is it on one? Is it on go? Is it one and then go? What is it? It was also a very fast 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As long as I say, it was a very fast one.
Yeah, like, it was. Yeah, I was ready, man. I didn't have to wait for anyone. I could just go.
Yeah, what are we doing here today?
I don't know.
Is it? I mean, it's Friday. It's the day before your birthday.
Yeah.
We ostensibly said that we were here to talk tech, but actually, our real plan. No, we're not getting you all into a pyramid scheme. Not today.
Not today. We got to set up the MLM, and it'll be a hat-based one. And so you'll wear like 5 hats, and then you give 2 of those hats to 2 other people, and then they got to wear 5 hats, and then give those hats to 3 other people. And
I don't really know if my downstream can handle that many hats. You know, it's a lot. I mean, that's a lot, but you know, it's fair. We actually have a list. Okay, we actually have a list and perhaps a little bit of an agenda. So, you know, like maybe prepared-ish.
Sort of, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Before we get to that, speaking of day before my birthday, I am trying to fund a prompter, which is right up there. You can donate to that. There's my Ko-fi. That's how they want it pronounced, according to their tweet. Unless they bring out another tweet saying no.
They can want whatever they want.
Yeah. Agendas are promising starts for MLMs. Very good, right? Eventually, I'll invite people out to a virtual lunch, and I will talk about how, you know, we're not a pyramid scheme. We're a triangle-shaped business.
Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, this is off to a wonderful, I hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday.
And let's see who is with us. Hi, Lily, Clickflint, hello. Puddleglum, hello. Lady Luck, hello. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. So we're actually going to maybe get to a topic. Tetrahedral entrepreneurial endeavor. Exactly. Love that. But topic.
Right. No. So yes. So among DC's many Notion templates, which if you type an exclamation point, is it Notion or templates? I can't remember which in chat.
Could be both
on those. But we also created a checklist, which if you are doing anything with guests, is fantastic to have shared documents. I'm doing a show tomorrow, and we immediately started a shared document so everyone has the information. But the point was, and as was mentioned before, is that we're going to talk a little bit about kind of the tech, but just kind of what we have, what we bring to conventions with us. So that's where we're starting. Which I realize, like, it's kind of tech, but I mean, like, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think of a bag as tech, but I get a lot of ads telling me that bags are, urban technical bag, and I'm like, it's a bag. It's just you put stuff
Yeah.
in it.
Well,
It's a bag.
it takes machinery to make them, and
Yeah. And we have a few other options after that. DC has grabbed a bunch of stuff that has been recently in the news. And I won't spoil it, but yeah, just because I just like, oh yeah, I definitely read this before today. I absolutely read this list before today. I did. I promise.
all right. Oh,
I'm sorry. It's been a long week and Friday is silly time. So no.
oh yeah, it really has been a long week,
Yes.
especially yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we were going to talk about the stuff that we bring to conventions, in which I, having not done a lot of convention travel, I pretty much go to one convention a year. Now that has expanded to one main convention and maybe a bonus one. Um, it never occurred to me, like, oh, right, I've always not been able to handle all my stuff on the convention floor. I've never had, like, my back or shoulders have always hurt from stuff. And, then I'm stuffing like power cables and cords in my suitcase, and this is not efficient. So, like, surely there's got to be a better way for this. Um, so I'm happy to talk about what I bring, DC to talk about what he brings, and then if people in chat mention stuff, I'm really curious what other people consider like must-haves when they travel for convention stuff.
Yeah. So first up is the handy dandy bag we got here. A company called Solo New York. I'll put the link in chat in a moment, but here it is. Trying to get it all in frame there. What I like about this bag is that it has a handle, but also if you want it to be a shoulder strap, you can just shoulder strap it, or backpack, which honestly, being able to go from handle to backpack is why I got this. Because for a while, many years, I had just a one shoulder strap bag, and my shoulder would kill me after conventions. And yeah, it was time to change that. I finally found this bag. I really like it. We got a couple pockets here, a smaller one, bigger one, nice larger pocket here for stuff. And then we have the opening where you can see a couple pockets in there.
Yeah, I like that it has. I mean, I can speak from experience because after seeing DC talk about his, I immediately went out and got one for myself. Um, but it's got a really, like, I did a little bit of international travel, so that big front pocket is really nice for passport, and even like for credit cards that you only travel with, because now I have some that I only use when I travel. The other pocket is great if you have like a big brick charger or something. I stick my business cards in it, but it also has they do say padded, and some reviewers tests have said that the padding's not great, but they do have an inner pocket that fits my MacBook. So if you have a slim form laptop, it'll fit great. And then there's a pocket right in front of that that actually fits. Get over here. It fits my Kindle, so that also works. And it fits like a nice. It will also fit my Kindle and a journal, because we all have 50 journals that we only actually use one of that we travel with us. Um, and I really appreciated how much I could put in it. And, um, it doesn't feel, if I don't put enough in it, it doesn't feel like it's sagging or like it's too big or too puffy. And if I do overfill it a little bit, then I just take it by hand. But, um, I really liked it. I haven't been much of a backpack person since high school. And this has turned me back into like a backpack travel person. I really like it.
Yeah, the backpack straps are really easy to connect, and then they just fold into a pocket in the back, and it's great. And then they disappear, and they're not there if you want to use the shoulder or just carry it with you. And it, the past couple conventions I've had it on, my shoulders thank me loudly.
Definitely that. I think the only thing I would love if they did have, which you can sort of accomplish with the backpack straps if you pull them really tight, is it doesn't have that nice kind of sleeve in the back that you can put down over your roller bag handle. So it's not super fit for, like running through airports, but because sometimes you still don't want to wear your bag, even if you can wear it, you just want to roll all
Mhm.
your stuff. So that's where I do pull the backpack straps super tight, and it kind of helps. Um, but yeah, it's been easy, especially for security, not just at the airport, but also like security checks. Like if you have anything metal, because we travel with metal dice, it's nice to put them in a quick thing that's easy to open up and say, that's just what this is. It definitely has fit water bottles in there, fits my snacks in there. Um, yeah, it's good. It doesn't have the side pockets, like the mesh pockets on the side, but it's done a really nice job, and it's definitely earned the price, because not having that I'm holding all of this energy on one shoulder the entire
Mhm.
day has been really nice. And yeah, it packs up really quick.
Yeah, I like it. It's I tend to carry 2, maybe 3 bags with me. One bag is my clothes and everything I need, and then the other bag is what I carry around the convention floor, which is the one I showed off. And it's excellent. I fit my iPad in there if I need to draw out something or type something up real quick. And just wonderful.
I'm hoping you can't
And
hear that. There's somebody doing some big music behind me.
just barely like if you all
um,
turn up your volumes a little bit, if you can't hear it, just turn up your volumes a bit, and I
so
bet you can hear the faintest scent.
one day I'm going to get DC to do a panel on to do a talk about voice recording and trying to voice record when you live in a city. It's it's fun. There's the bass. There's that booming bass. It's right behind me. Um, but yeah, I have become a fan of the convertible bag. I tend to not like to carry a lot of things, period, at a convention. But as
Hmm.
my convention attendance has moved from less attending for fun to attending for work, like I haven't run a panel. I may be like in a live game. I may DM something and I need my laptop, which I almost never have. It's always back in the hotel room. But now I can very easily bring that along with me if I need to. And yeah, I don't have to worry about keeping people's cards because I can just shove them in my bag.
Hmm.
It's you get little swag here, a little dice purchase there, a little something. You're like, no, I'm good. Um, so yeah, it's a little easier, especially if you're flying, um, to then make sure you're leaving enough space for goodies, because you can get that. It fits perfectly fine under the seat in front of you, as they say on the plane. It would also fit overhead if you needed to. So yeah, it's a nice bag.
Yeah, we really like it. So check it out. They have a lot of great options too. But
Hmm.
I for convention stuff, if you can get a hybrid case of any kind, they're amazing. I highly encourage it, even if this isn't the one for you. But believe me, it probably will be.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Sponsored,
We
right?
just we just both ended up getting the bag and enjoying it. But call us solo. We're fine with that.
Yeah. All right. So putting in all that stuff, we need power when we travel because we have cell phones, we have watches, we have our
Like I
laptops, our tablets, whatever, and now we need to power them. So I use this Amazon Basics power brick right here. Yeah, 2 USB lightning things. It's handy. The plug just folds up, and yeah, it's been great. I plug it in, uh, power my stuff, and that way I don't have to trust the USB ports that are in the hotel room. Um, and I have my own personal thing, and it fits nicely in the bag. It's nice, small rectangular-ish shape. I mean, it's got the rounded corners, so rectangular-ish.
You brought you brought things. Mine are still, because I just got back from a trip like a little while ago. Mine are all still like hiding in places. I will have a few things here I can show, but otherwise, um, but yeah, I also I ended up, because my home setup for the computer is like my couch across the room, so I ended up needing a lot of power supplies. And I had older ones that when I started testing their fuses, they weren't really great. If something happened, it wasn't going to be a good time for me. So I ended up getting a bunch of new ones. And I saw that, okay, they have them with USB power ports in them now, which for me around the house is nice because, I have um, I have a digital assistant in my bathroom, but the bathroom plugs aren't always where they need to be. So I now have them. But the one I take with me just has plain USB ports. It doesn't have Lightning, which I should probably upgrade to. But I also appreciate it for the exact same reason. I work in IT. I have been through many, many, many security trainings where they explain to not just plug your device into a stray USB port, no matter how much power you need. Um, and you can be the hero at the airport if you have a power strip. You like all of a sudden you plug a power strip into something and everybody can plug into yours. You're the hero all of a sudden. Um, but it is nice because yes, a lot of hotels will have USB ports put everywhere, but they're also learning to have a power port at the same place. So that's fine. Um, um, I will say, like, if you're using their USB port to charge something like your portable charger, which we're going to get to in a second, that is a little safer. It is much harder to pass an injection. Like, that's because your USB charger doesn't have any means of doing that. But yeah, be mindful of what you're. I feel like your grade school health teacher right now, but do be mindful of what you're plugging your port into and make sure that you know where it's been.
Tech ed. So you gotta get permission slip. So yeah, I
Oh my goodness.
I do
But
like
yeah,
the design of your power strip. It looks nice.
it's like similar to yours. It's the bulk of it is flat. So
Mhm.
it's still like that goes in my suitcase. That doesn't even go in my travel bag. It goes in my suitcase. So the minute I get into my room, I the minute I get into my room, I can immediately because I am that person who I know I shouldn't charge everything to 100%. So I do turn on optimized charging for everything. But the minute I get there, I have probably on a travel day used up all the power in all my devices. So it's right there in my suitcase, done. Um, I kind of like leaving it there also because again, the hotel room, like I have a place I can set my desk up. So it's all right there and it's all plugged in and I never have to worry about like anything from the hotel. So I mean I'm still using their power, but I'm a guest. What are they gonna do? So yeah, I really like it and I would definitely advise anyone, no matter what, whether you go to conventions or whether you just travel, consider one to keep in your suitcase, even a small one. Like consider having a power strip on hand. And if it's got USB ports, that's even better. Just because you never know like if you've got to go back and stay at your childhood home, you will suddenly be well aware of how few electrical outlets our homes had back in the day. Speaking from experience.
Right. And yeah, and so kind of related to that, we have portable chargers because sometimes there's not a plug around and you need power. So I have this Anchor one here. It nifty. Let's see if it. Ooh, there's like little lights on the side telling me
I'm gonna go
that
get
I
mine
need
now
to
that you're
charge
doing.
it. And to plug it in, it just folds down right there. And you can fold it back up. Yay. And then there's just the one connector here. USB-C plugs into my phone and yeah, delivers the power. And it's nice. It easily fits in a bag. I like the size of this. I had another charger I used for a while, and while it was flatter, it was also a lot longer and a little more inconvenient. But yeah, I do I like this. It's good. Gives me can make my phone last all day, because when I'm at a convention and I'm using, I need to talk to people, I'm using my phone a whole lot more. And sometimes you need extra power when you're up at midnight and you're at a bar, and you want to make sure you can get home or anything like that, and so you can charge.
I think what I really like about that one is it has a outlet, so it has the ability to just be charged on its own. You can just
Hmm.
you can just leave it and set it and it's fine. Um, I know a lot of us have them by Anchor, and Anchor is also great because they make ones that will magnetically adhere to your phone. So if you have contact charging, you can do that. They have ones that have little tripods, so you can actually let it charge while you're setting it up as a stand. Um, I bought this. I was just looking for a quick one with decent. I know I bought this to arrive maybe like a day or two before I was traveling somewhere because I was kind of scrambling, and it was cold. I didn't want to leave the house. I mean, I never want to leave the house. Who wants to leave the
Right.
house? Um, but I ended up getting this one, and it is by one of those. The names don't always make sense on Amazon. INIU. So it's by one of the companies that, of course, just has a random assemblage of letters put together. And I promise that I'm not a furry, but oops, hold on. No, go. It has a flashlight too, which is great. Um, but it does to give the indicator of charging time. It has a little paw on it, so as it's charging, the paw lights up, and when the paw is like empty, you don't have any power. But it also has two USB-A slots and USB-C. It uses USB-C for charging, and it's just in that nice compact shape where if you had to walk around with this in your pocket, you could. But of course, because we have awesome convertible bags, we don't need to do that. And then I didn't actually write this down because you can buy it, but I've never paid for one in my life, um, because it is very good convention swag. And um, this is a multi. Don't look at me. Look at the thing. It's a multi-prong USB charger, and um, I use this as a pass-through for all of my devices. And what my favorite, this one is fancy because like when you plug it in, um, it glows with the logo of the company,
Oh, neat.
pivot, I guess. So it's working. But it's something that if you go to tech conventions or like local, like to my area, a lot of government technology conventions, they'll be like, "Hey, come over here and get a thing," because they know people need this. It's got A, B, Lightning, C. It's got even the old micro, so it's got all of these on it, and that's a nice thing. So I actually shove both of those in the same bag together, and that's I just I now understand this world of my phone is never empty, and I can go to anybody else around me to be like, "Do you need a charge? Because your phone's looking a little like dry over there," and it was great. So yeah, that and it doesn't magnetize to my, which I wish it did. It doesn't magnetize to my phone. It doesn't act as anything. It's just there, and it's nice to have that independent power source for security, both actual security and peace of mind security. Um, and I think I also something else I do because I've got an Apple Watch, I have an iPhone, I have AirPods Pro, which I almost never use, but all of them have magnetic contact charging on them. So I also have this, which like, oh, I can't do the badge, like, there, just the facts, ma'am. Um, but my phone, it's even for the people who are like who need the help. Like this one's for your phone, this one's for your watch, and this one's for your pods. Um, and I will plug this one again because it's a USB power pass through. I'm not as concerned about it from a security standpoint. But I will plug this one directly into my charger, directly into my power supply. And I keep this on the nightstand because hold on, it's designed to be magnetic. So it basically can just kind of fold away. And I really enjoy that because as much as I talk about the phone power dropping during the day, I think the number one now new smart device that drops power the most is our watches, because most of them are tracking our movement and they are constantly pinging our phone to make sure they have signal. So having those has been kind of nice as well, just to be like, yep, that's I'm set, I'm good. I don't have to worry about it's like it's all set. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. And, my watch is lucky to last a day on the charge. So definitely some sort of charging, because a lot of those watch chargers are proprietary. And so you got to carry around that specific cord with you.
I will add to this that while I love my multi cable, I I do use my convertible bag to keep my original cables on, just in case on that one day, Apple's iOS decides, actually, I don't like this charger anymore. I need the original. So just in case, but I do keep the originals on me. But yeah, it's nice to be able to have all in one and not have to
Mhm.
worry about it. But yeah, watches especially, like they require a special magnetic thing. It's kind of annoying, but yeah.
They're convenient. And like, I didn't think I'd like a watch, but then the notifications would pop up from my phone on my watch.
It's
I'm like,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Uh, I admit it's for me. It's the fitness tracking, which is another reason why my phone constantly is out of power, because but I love it now to track my exercise, and that's the main reason that I ended up getting one. And because otherwise, like I always have to put on my glasses because it's too small and too close to read it on a normal basis.
Hmm.
But otherwise, yeah, it's a nice device to have. Um, and yeah, if you have devices, as all of us do, it's nice to remember to think about convenient ways to power those and to have power for them while you're away.
Yeah. Let's see. Was not expecting to go shopping during Tech Friday, but has already picked up a couple of things for eventual return to conventions. Excellent.
We should have set up affiliate links. I gotta
Yeah.
tell you,
Those are all.
yeah.
And
Oh
Full
well.
Rubber Ducky, hello. Thank you for the hat redeem. Uh, it's been great. Uh, let's see. I changed hats. I changed hats while it was on the other camera. Did you notice? I don't know, but it happened. It was like magic.
I can only see DC. I can't. I mean, I can see all the tech wizardry, but it's hard for me to watch a stream that I'm on at the same time. So I'm not seeing the production side of things. But I saw the hat change, and I was like, oh, it's back. Yeah. But we have one more. We have. Oh, actually, no. We have a few more travel.
Yeah,
No, I. Yeah. Something that I don't consider, but I know that DC has talked about before. DC, tell me about this wallet that you use.
sure. It's the Exter. I wanted to make sure I said that right. Carbon fiber wallet. It's this thing here. This is the front of it. This little strappy thing here connects this, and so you can shove money, some business cards between this and this. Otherwise, this switch here, and let me go to my cam. This little switch right here will pop up your cards. Business cards aren't designed for them because they're thin, but I didn't want to take a risk in showing off my credit card or anything on stream. So, but normally I would have my credit card, my license, all in this, and it's very convenient. More convenient than like a full size wallet. And I just like that it's thin, and especially for conventions. Now that a lot of conventions, everyone has the little thing attached to their phone that you swipe a card in. And so cash is just kind of bulky, unnecessary sometimes. And so, yeah, if I'm going out, I really like this. This is great. Or especially traveling around conventions, I don't have to worry about my big old wallet. And it's thin, and so it fits nicely in a pocket.
That is the thing. I mean, I used to be, if anybody, they still are around Birchbox. They do like a monthly beauty supply thing, but they also did one for men. And this is my wallet. It's just a felt tiny little thing. I keep cards, my license and insurance cards in it, and maybe shove a little cash. but no, thin wallets are the thing. And I come from the era of members only jackets and massive Velcro wallets that we all used to have. Like, I know even Seinfeld has a joke about George's wallet that he would keep everything in. And I am definitely now down with just slim anything. I also am I tend to only take what I need that day with me. So generally it's like my ID, my one travel credit card, and like insurance stuff just in case. But I love having a much smaller wallet. And, you know, I don't know, like there's always the, oh well, watch out for pickpockets. I don't go anywhere where they warn about pickpockets, but I'm pretty sure it's harder for people to find something that is tinier that, you know, is like
Hmm.
inside your bag or inside your in your pocket. So yeah, I'm always looking for smaller wallets. You know, I keep wavering on getting the passport card versus the passport book just because the passport card will also fit, but not every country accepts the card, so no.
All right. So let's move on to the computers we take with us, because we've talked about how we power all these things, how we charge all them, but sometimes we need to get work done. And
Ew, gross.
yeah, I know, weird, right?
Uh-uh. Don't like it.
And, no. So I take my iPad Air, is right here. Yeah, got the pen, got the paper, got the keyboard cover thing going on. Can see it there. Ooh, look, clock. Uh, but ever since the, I can't remember what iPad OS edition it is, or version number, but last year they came out with one where you can have folders and things. It doesn't quite work like PC, but you can still have folders and put stuff into folders. And that completely changed my idea of what I wanted to bring with me to conventions. So if I don't have a specific reason to bring my aging laptop with me, I just bring the Air because I can read on it, I can draw, I can you know, I can get it my email, check my Discord, whatever I need to do. It's all in one package that fits conveniently in the bag that we talk about. Really.
Mhm. I'm the same in that you know, I also now have the airline. I've loved my MacBook, but I've only ever loved my MacBook for creative stuff. I don't use it much around the house, like although now I can stream from this thing, so it's amazing. But yeah, I have a MacBook Air and same thing. It's light, it fits, it allows me to you know, I've now learned how to use my phone as a hotspot and I can actually work on like Google Docs or if the place has spotty Wi-Fi, I had to run a game. So I had all of my game notes on my laptop and I was able to basically make notes and refer to things. And yeah, it's just that's the computer that I travel with. I have seen several the slim form laptop factor is huge. It's coming. Everybody kind of wants to be able to do that. And I've always just liked Apple's way of doing it. And one thing I'll say, I'm not sure if I know iPad Air has folders. Does it do? See, the MacBook Air will allow you to do virtual desktops, very similar to Windows. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another way of me to keep things a lot more organized. Um, and and with that, to kind of go back to the other little things that I bring is because it is a MacBook Air and there are two ports. You get two. I also have a 7-in-1 USB hub that I that I bring with me just in case. Because yeah, it's nice, but this time now I'm able to stream from this thing. I can quickly plug a USB-C cam into it. Um, and then one more for my mic and it's good to go. So thankfully I didn't have to do any streaming on the road, but I could. And yeah, and that was like that's probably my biggest splurge for my freelance creative stuff is getting the MacBook Air and deciding to upgrade that. But it's been worth it. It really has. And yeah, and because it's like it's just you know, the iPad Air, the MacBook Air, they just fit right in that pocket in your
Mm-hmm.
bag, and it's like they're practically invisible. Yeah.
Great. And I've been using for my talks and stuff. I have a Surface Pro 6. They're now on Surface Pro like 9, 10, something like that. So this came out in 2018. But I still put all my PowerPoint on it and everything. So if I'm doing a panel, that's why I pull out and plug in. I may actually switch to, I may trade in the Air and do what you do, Herb, and get a MacBook Air just so I can have, figure out how to plug an HDMI port into that. And then that would be the thing I could take with me everywhere. And because they're very thin, and there's some software I like on the Mac for traveling.
It kind of makes me wonder, especially for conventions, because mostly our conventions, what we need is we just need something that is HDMI capable so that we can have our slide deck in. I am wondering why I haven't seen or haven't had marketed to me. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but honestly, just a return to the single device that all this device does is access Google Documents for you, and that's it. And I'm like, why are we not doing that yet? But it but yeah, I love the Surface as well. When they were first doing the anyone has seen the table that is the computer, like that was using a Microsoft Surface, and a lot of the it was a tactile thing, and unfortunately Microsoft only ever did them for demos, and nobody ever actually made a big one. But please don't ever buy a gaming table that's like that. It's just going to break, and you're going to be stuck with like a $9,000 piece of furniture.
Yeah, you don't need a Surface.
But it'd be so cool if you did have one.
Yeah.
And if you do, invite me over for games. That's all I'm saying.
Invites in the email. All right. We'll head to break soon, and then we can switch topics to some of the new stuff that we've put into the thing, the Notion doc thing.
The Notion Tech. But before we do, anybody out there, we've talked about a few things that we have. We have talked about, our power, our cables, our chargers, our bags, our computers. People may not be able to post links, but if there's something that you particularly consider a must-have that's kind of tech-based when you travel, I would love for people to share that with us in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Robo. Wait, like iPads used as mini maps? Ooh, yeah.
Can you imagine just finding a bunch of maybe like cheap refurb iPads, and being able to, like you're on Star Trek, being able to hand them out at a table like pads, and being like, all right, here's your map, here's the secret note that only you get, and then like have them all connected via Bluetooth so you can actually send individual things to different people at the table.
Yeah.
I should probably write this down and copyright it.
Or you could take an iPad, right? And D&D Beyond has maps now on it. So, and they recently introduced a player view, or a player view. So you could set the iPad to that, have another device where it's the DM view, and then all your players would just see, move around. And if they had their devices, they could connect to the map, and you could all, have one screen on a table and all interface with it.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun for accessibility, depending on the charging power, like the battery life of your iPad. Is if you could have a hybrid table. Like some people are very comfortable doing pen and paper and their own dice, but maybe like you could even have a tab of D&D Beyond, like a tab up for each person's character, and they could just pass it back and forth. If I need to do a roll, I need to do a check. This is an interesting. I don't do a lot of in-person games, but I've been realizing how much I enjoy having the technical tools just as a library, because my brain's not going to remember all this. So yeah, it'd be a really interesting way to continue to adopt technology in our games while not getting rid of traditional methods either. But again, that would have to be an in-person thing, which I don't have a home gaming group yet, because I don't want to leave my house.
I don't either, and I have a home gaming group. I don't know why I do this to myself.
We did have one. Oh, we had a question on the Twitch chat. Curious to know what mic and camera you travel with.
None. I mean, if it's on my phone, it's with me. But if I were to, if I had the chance to do a professional setup, I would definitely get a. I'd probably get something small, like the Insta 360 here that can just plug into a laptop. If I'm doing, I'm not doing some big production, like you go and you go into the streaming space and there's these huge cameras set up everywhere. Uh, I would take laptop, this, a microphone. There are some really good ones out there that you can just pack in that you could get for like $50, honestly, 50 to 100. I would probably go with just because I use Rode stuff, I'd probably go with the Rode Pod mic. Those are very tiny, very portable.
Mhm.
And if you go for the original version, they're only about $100 and they can pick up things. Also, I would have a bag I can't lift this up, but I have the Rodecaster Duo next to me. And so I would take that as well if I wanted more things, because the Rodecaster Duo can record in itself. You don't need to get that audio. So if I was just doing an audio thing, I could plug in a couple mics to this, have an SD card in there, hit record, adjust the audio however I needed to, get it sounding great. I have, 4 or 5 channels to mix, and when I'm done, I have a full recording, and it'll even separate out the tracks for me on the SD card. I go back to it.
Yeah, I know that we talked about the Rode, and you've shown it off before. I'm sure it's now just tied down because it's cabled in.
Yeah.
But also there are miniature mini SD recorders that have
Mhm.
XLR inputs that I've been interviewed with somebody that, like, we're having full size microphones and cables, but what's recording us is like this big. For me, I travel with my Logitech, the Yeti, because it's just a simple USB mic and it pretty much gets everything. And when I last traveled, I took the Logitech MX Brio, um, which they sent me. So it was a partnered thing to help show it off. But it is designed. It is a new product out by them, designed to be a higher quality. Essentially, it uses AI to better balance your light. That's all. It's not like AI is doing anything. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
it's dark, I'll lighten you. So it's a nicer video camera. So if I were having to do a stream or something, I would be able to do that. But otherwise, I worst comes down to it, I use the camera and mic in my phone, and I would use the camera and mic already on my laptop. But if I had to interview people, then yeah, I would definitely do a little research and I'd probably find something that's more in miniature. I've even seen the ones that it's like a console, but at the top it just has the two little flexible
Yeah,
microphones.
yeah, those work really
Those
well.
are
I've used one
those are
before.
really nice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I will say, thankfully I don't have to like work stream stuff, because that would be a whole different, that would make this a very different what tech do you take to conventions
Yeah.
stream. So yeah.
Oh,
um
microphones. Going back to that, I'm
mhm.
changing my answer because I would get the again, Rode or anyone else. We have a plethora now of these small wireless mics you can connect,
Yes.
and they if you're just doing 2 or 4, they come in little boxes that are charging them. And again, Rodecaster stuff works with Rodecaster. So if you got the Rode ones, the Rodecaster Duo automatically has a thing inside that goes, "Oh, you're using the Rodecaster wireless mic. Okay, I know what that is. Here you go. We'll record that. That's a channel now. Yay!"
I would love, and again, this is I would, if there were some out there that were easy to get and test, I would love to talk about this, because when I do
Hmm.
streams in the kitchen, I have a mic in one place, and I'm now going to change that for a directional mic, so it's just a little bit better. But I definitely have to turn away, walk away, move into another room. I would love to have a nice wireless mic. So I've never looked into them, because mostly I'm lucky enough to be able to plug something in. but I've been looking for a nice quality. I've heard about the Rode and a few other brands.
Hmm.
I really like the black square, like the clip on. Like I've seen people on
Hmm.
TikTok clip it to their hat or the like. So anyway. Um, but yeah, I think worst comes down to it. If I did have to do something, it would just be my camera or my laptop, unless I knew that I was going to need to, sound like this at a
Hmm.
convention versus just a normal thing. Like, yes, we were talking
Yeah.
lav mics, the
Yep.
wireless.
Wireless lavs. Just more made with streaming in mind, and you can, in fact, at least on the Rode ones, you can get little windscreen ones and put it in, so it looks more like a traditional lav mic. But yeah, these are
Tribble,
yeah, a little tribble, little bit of tribble taken and put on the top and get a little fuzzy thing. But yeah, these are more built for streaming, for just walking around and connecting Bluetooth to a thing. Instead of having like a long wire running down to a pack, and then that pack transmitting to something, you could just wear this. And if you have the Rodecaster Duo, it will the Rode mics will just transmit to it. But usually you do need the Rode Wireless Go too. And usually you need a mic, a transmitter, and then plug that transmitter into something. Is how most of those work, and these are just a little more convenient. Gets rid of a wire. They sound really good. Yeah.
But again, I think I've seen people just using their phones.
Yeah.
Like they will just they'll have a recording app and they'll just point the base of the phone at you, back at themselves, and edit that later on. I've heard a few podcasts that took place at PAX Unplugged, and you would not know that they were at PAX. Like you would have no idea they were on the floor because they got just far enough away that there's like a little bit of a dull roar way in the back, but those work just fine as well. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. If there's any other questions,
timing this perfectly.
Yeah. There's any other questions on any of that? Rex, you don't travel with a half dozen Blackmagic cameras, lenses, and their mixing console? I am shocked, right? I don't want to carry 100 pounds of equipment with me.
If anything, I'm going to make DC carry that because he's a producer. So. Talent doesn't deal with that. No, sorry, not to him. Just gonna get a pack of Jawas behind us.
Houdini. All right, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we'll do news. But please, as Herb said a little bit ago, if you have anything you like bringing to conventions with you that's tech related, let us know, and we'll talk about it. And so we'll see you in about 5-10 minutes, and we'll run some ads. So stay tuned. Thanks for being here, everyone. See you in a bit. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tech Friday, the day before my birthday Tech Friday edition. Yay! I'm here with
Yes.
my guest, Urban Bohemian. Hey!
Hello. I don't know how many times. I mean, it only comes once a year, the birthday, and the fact that there's a Friday right before the birthday. If anybody out there is like a calendar nerd, figure out how many more of the pre-birthday Tech Fridays we have until the heat death of the universe. Just go do that. It's a fun little project for you.
Yeah, it's rare, but sometimes my birthday is even Easter.
I think, don't we have a March Easter? Wait, is this year's a March Easter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this Sunday.
Which is like, that was messing me up. Friends were like, "Oh yeah, well, Easter weekend," and I've completely forgotten. A friend and I are making brunch plans, and we completely forgot that we have a major holiday that's about to mess all of that up. Because I have priorities.
Well, yeah, brunch. Brunch is the best.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, first off, you've said it's your birthday. I haven't said happy almost birthday, DC.
Thank you.
And if you are interested in doing a little bit to help out with a nice treat, it's something that we're about to talk about, actually. But if you do !Ko-fi in chat, because that's what there's Ko-fi now. Are they?
I think so,
Okay.
until they decide otherwise.
!Ko-fi in chat, although the bot's already on it. Ko-fi.com/Hatomancer. You will be able to donate a little bit towards. I like the thing that they do where you can have people chip in. It's very similar to Stream Gifts and other things. But yeah, you can chip in towards him treating himself with an Elgato prompter. And then us later learning how that works, how he managed to get it into his setup, if at all, and now like how it looks having this big honking double lens thing in front of his screen. You can find all of that after he does.
Exactly. And so this week, Elgato announced a couple things. But the first thing we're going to talk about is this update to Prompter, where it adds a voice dictation mode to Prompter. So in the software, you hit a button, you say words, and suddenly they're on the screen. And I don't know. Tell us more about it.
Well, I mean, that's essentially it. Another recent tweet of theirs is that they have also integrated Stream Deck. Why did they name these things these right after each other? They've integrated Stream Deck with Prompter, so you're able to control the prompts. However, this adding an instant voice dictation mode is interesting. I'm somebody who writes everything, even a small script. I've written it in advance, and then sometimes I memorize it. Other times I just put it on the screen in front of the camera and try not to look like I'm doing this. But but this now allows you, if you're not a person that writes a lot of stuff ahead of time, if you're not the person that kind of noodles out your thoughts, this lets you do that in the app itself. You can immediately use voice dictation to talk your stuff through, and that then immediately goes into the prompter buffer to be able to be used. Now, I can't say that this is a game changer. It is simply something that makes sense for there to be there anyway, because Elgato does audio inputs, they do audio outputs. They may as well integrate this prompter application with voice recognition. Again, I don't know how good the voice recognition is. It may just be the Windows voice recognition, or they may be using their own engine. Not sure. But yeah, if you're somebody who doesn't tend to write stuff out, but you need to talk out the stuff, and also, maybe I know, like, I type faster than I think. All right, I type faster than I think, so I'm good with writing stuff down. But a lot of people just, aren't. They don't. I don't know if they teach typing in school anymore. They probably don't. They probably call it keyboarding now, because that's edgier. But it's a nice feature. Without a prompter, I'm having a hard time seeing how I would really roll that in, because I'm not always set up for streaming. My camera is not always out in front of me, so I would probably use a Google document more than anything else. But yeah, it'd be kind of cool to be able to say, you're going to do a really quick recording. It's for something you want it to look that prompter professional. So right before you do, you don't spend time on 15 drafts. You just start saying, here's what I want to say. And then you think that sounds good, maybe a little bit of edit, and then run that right through the prompter and you're good to go. So yeah, it sounds good. It's just as a value add, it's nice. It's just hard to see what this can do otherwise. And saw some people in their comments saying, hey, can we integrate this without the prompter? To which again, you already have tons of apps on your computer that will do voice recognition into text. So you probably don't need it, even if you have a full Elgato ecosystem.
Yeah. Thanks for
doing trash
explaining
recognition.
that.
The trash collection outside of my window now. So this like city living is great.
Music, trash collection, you get it all.
Yeah. Elgato, call me. I'd love to test out your stuff. I would be curious how it would work because I do like to do like straight to camera videos. It's just hard to do because I have to have the thing behind. So it'd be interesting to give it a shot. I've seen friends who have them. They work great. Thankfully I'm not doing a lot of like recorded videos that I don't just do off the cuff anyway. And then I go back and edit them severely. Like just cuts in every
Yeah.
place. But yeah, it's a cool feature to add to the prompter. And if you're somebody who does this a lot, you've already rolled the prompter into your workflow. So this is just another additional connection.
Yeah. And where I'm thinking a prompter would help me is with tech videos, because then I'll have my script up, I'll be able to read it, and, just go through what I say, and it'll be a lot easier than my current method of, okay, did that sound good? I gotta go back, listen to that take, and everything, and I'll just have the words there, and I can look right at all of you more often, say hi.
And even as a normal streamer, like something that we are supposed to and expected to have is our like elevator pitch about ourselves. I can imagine setting up a whole routine, perhaps through StreamerBot, that if you go to raid, the minute you're done with your thing, like it automatically starts bringing up, hey, here's who I am, here's what we're all about, we do this, and it may sound rehearsed every time because it is rehearsed. It's just now it's in front of you, so you just read it. So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool idea.
All right. And let's stick with, let's jump around the list here. Let's stick with Elgato. And I know, gasp. And we'll go to the.
Like you can't just move stuff around on the list.
Right? Like,
honestly. This has been a good week for webcams, though. Like Logitech came out with their MX Brio, which is not what we're talking about. I do have a small video of me unboxing. Actually, I have a clip that I'll get it while we're talking about this. But Elgato was like hinting at something, and what it is the Facecam MK2, which looks really pretty. I gotta say,
it's a neat looking unit. It's smaller. I'm on the Facecam Pro right now. When what they added to this, the normal Facecam couldn't do before, is now you have the pan, tilt, zoom controls that you get with the Facecam Pro in a less expensive package. Now I've been trying to find all the differences between the MK2 and the Facecam Pro. I'm not sure on all those yet, but one thing is that the Facecam MK2 only goes up to 1080p 60, and the Pro can do 4K.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. So, and I mean, I'm looking at the costs now. The Facecam MK2 is half the price of the Facecam Pro. So they are, even though it is a new product, they are billing it as like, we had this is sort of your entry if you really want to upgrade. I think my brain lost words for a minute. Give me a second. Video conferencing. That's what I was, because this is video conferencing is now while the world does try to return to a hybrid situation, everybody is starting to now lean into you're doing all of your meetings on the go. You're doing them from your company supplied computer. You're doing them from probably a really crappy looking camera on your computer. So we're going to start up marketing these cameras that sit on your laptop and they just give you a better look. They auto correct your lighting. They make you look clearer and crisper. You're coming through at 1080p. This is now falling into that. I would not say that, I mean, obviously, streamers love small cameras too, but this is starting to feel like they are opening up their market to move beyond streamers, beyond the tech pros, and to say, you, average person who has to run a Zoom meeting from your house 3 times a week, don't you want to look best? So
Mm-hmm.
you grab this camera and also all of our lights with it. So, you know, make it,
Right. And we have this thing called Stream Deck that it also works with. So,
like, I always find it funny because they usually advertise this with streamers,
mhm.
but they're really also saying like you'll look good just giving that interview to CNN that catches you on a random room that you had to set up for your streaming or like something like that. So yeah, I also don't quite understand. I'm looking at their image of like how this works versus other webcams, and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah,
It's a
I
whole
didn't
pinball
get
thing.
that.
I don't get it. But it does look like it has a much clearer picture. It's a much smaller form factor. So if you are able to stream from your laptop, that's great. Or if you have a permanently set up monitor, it's nice. And if you're looking for an upgrade to your current camera and you don't have a DSLR, the face cam is going to probably be a nice thing to look at next.
Yeah, and some of the features that they include in the software with this, they put into the, if you have a Facecam Pro like I do, I have access to those features now too, so I'm not left out of some innovation there.
Mhm. I think the field of view is probably my favorite. Um, the pan and tilt is nice, but being able, a lot of cameras, when you have the settings, a lot of webcams, once you hit it locked into whatever your zoom is, you can't move the image around. But now with these, their software is like, okay, you can zoom in on your face, but then
Hmm.
still do a whole lot. So the field of view and the pan and tilt, like, does this have gestures? Do you know,
I
or is it just
know
presets?
this is just presets. This is like this. So I can do live tilting of my camera. Uh,
Do you see it sinking? Can somebody please? Oh no, he's fine. Okay, he's back.
I can do all this with knobs. So and just slowly rotating the knobs between my fingers, and, letting the magic happen.
Anyway, I will say though, I do appreciate the fine grain control you get by using the Stream Deck, which is the one that has the dials.
Stream Deck
It,
Plus.
so the Stream Deck Plus, because it's nice to be able to use buttons to go up and down, but you then really have to dial in like, okay, do I want this to go 1, 5, 10, etc. Being able to use the dials and knobs to kind of really get it in.
Hmm.
Um, I was going to say dial it in, but that just seems obvious. But honestly, yeah, if you
Dialed
had
in.
that much zoom control, because for me, I've got to reach to my camera, do the thing on the lens. If I were able to do that um, from a button or from a dial, or like even my keyboard has tons of things that I can remap. I can remap dials on my keyboard. Um, so yeah, I do appreciate. I. This is a weird thing to say, but the software impresses me more than the cameras. The cameras are cameras,
Hmm.
but the software give you control. And that is something that, you can just decide, like, on this day I want the full view of my room. On this day my room is messy. I want to bring the field of view back down here. Um, you can do that a lot more easily now with software than you could before. Anyone who's dealt with webcam software knows, like, it sucks. Like, the basic drivers that come with everything
Mhm.
really suck.
They give
So
you
yeah,
great images, but the controls are just terrible.
it's it's like, what do you want from me, buddy? I'm a camera. I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
Like, but at 150 US, that's, I mean, again, it's not a bad cost for what is both a good streaming, video conferencing, webcam. It's I don't see this as the kind of thing that a business is going to buy up in bulk like an enterprise license for and send out to everybody. But if this were something where presenting was your gig, this is definitely something that you could consider writing off at $150. Yeah, because I know like the old lot, like that's the price. That's felt like the price point for a lot of things. I know the old Logitech C9, like those have also been around that.
Mhm.
So the fact that this cost is kind of staying steady while the quality is going up is nice.
And you're going to be using this maybe in the scenario or described in a Zoom meeting, and your window is going to be this big. So 1080p is plenty because your window goes down. You're not going to notice 4K uh, much at the size of your Zoom meeting window, especially if there's a lot of people, and then you got 20 people on the screen and they're all in tiny boxes. But your image will still look crisp and clear, even tiny. But yeah, it's good enough for most Zoom meetings, I'd say.
Mhm. Definitely. And besides, no one's going to be looking at you because you're going to look fine. They're going to be looking at the one person whose camera isn't quite good or who's got their dog in the background. Like, you can just sit there and be fine. And honestly, after a while, then you can just run a looping video of yourself and nobody will know the difference.
Does OBS allow for more than 1080p? It does. The issue you run into is Twitch and YouTube allowing that at certain bit rates, and your internet um, being able to transmit that high. Now, in the future, still kind of far off. Everyone's looking for AV1 to help with this. Thing with AV1 is that there's not a lot of encoder decoders out there. So yeah, great. You're transmitting an AV1, you're transmitting a smaller package, and you're live streaming, 4K, but no one can watch it because their computer can't figure out what to do with the signal.
Yeah. And if like DC's now in the enhanced broadcast beta, but even beforehand for partners who now receive transcoding, I've seen partners who either on purpose or accidentally were broadcasting at a much higher bit rate, and when Twitch went to the settings and said auto, like all of a sudden 4K appeared because you happened to be doing it. But it wasn't super sustainable on the consumer end. Like, your computer was probably fine, but it wasn't going great on Twitch's end. So I feel like we now understand for most streaming video, 720 to 1080 is a nice sweet spot for you viewing stuff. And anything beyond that is going to need to be coming from a dedicated video streaming supplier network kind of thing.
Yeah, and where 4K does help is if you're recording a YouTube video and then uploading it. Yeah, make that 4K. It'll look great. And the other thing is, you could have a 4K camera, and there are cases where the 4K camera will look better than if you just got a 1080p version of a camera. So you're downgrading the 4K signal to 1080p, but it's going to look better than a straight 1080p camera in some cases. Um,
So I've scrolled down further on their page about the Facecam M2, and if you go almost all the way down to the bottom, you get the compare option to see the difference between them. And I think what's interesting is the Facecam Pro does beat out a few things, but but they're really like they've really packed a lot into the MK2. I think the main thing they're saying is that it can't do 4K.
Yeah.
And they do talk about the microphones down below, and the microphone all just says X because webcam mics stink. They do.
Yep.
It's
They do.
true. Um, they're still good enough for most people, but yeah, if you're trying to be a professional podcaster at your computer, at your laptop or computer, you're going to want a better microphone. Period. But yeah, comparing them, it's like they're all three looking pretty good. It's just this is a nice new one out there, I think.
Yeah. And Herb touched on the Twitch Enhanced Broadcasting Beta. If you don't know what that is they are currently testing for future preparations of something like AV1. But they're testing doing encodes on your graphics card. So I got I got a 4080 in my thing. And so it does all the transcoding of the streams for me. And so I have, if you go to Twitch and look at my channel, you'll notice there's a bunch of quality options there. And that's my graphics card pumping those out. And not only does that, yes, it saves Twitch money, but it also gives us higher quality in those lower resolutions because the Twitch hardware that would normally do that has been around for a while and it's old. And so it's a lot better to do that. And I have to say the results were looking pretty good on my end, even at the lower resolutions that you can get
until you play Vampire Survivors.
Until you play Vampire Survivors, and then everything goes out the window. But yeah, so that's that, and they're just so I have a special version of OBS, and I just click a button, and it automatically gives sends out all those different resolution options, and so that's what's coming down the line is that going into OBS, not worrying about all the little settings in between like you do now. You just click you click a check mark, and it will send out the best quality streams and as many as it can, and you can set the number of streams. But right now we're testing 5, and they just
I appreciate that.
Need data. So, yeah,
I appreciate that they've made it easy from the user side to hopefully they'll probably add something in to test to be able to test. But the best way to figure out what you can do is honestly just run a test stream, and if things are broken, stop. And then, but I like the fact that it'll be just one option, because I love streaming. I love tech a little bit, but sometimes what you need to know to be able to do all of these other things, like even you're streaming right now from to Twitch and YouTube, I understand how, but it's too many things for me to worry about. Like if there were just one very, very simple way to do it, I'd be very happy.
mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that they're looking ahead and they're actually getting good user feedback on the usability of this new feature. So when the new version of OBS comes out, it'll be all like one button. Thank you. I don't want to think about anything else.
Yep. And this is an ongoing test, so it may be later this year, next year, before we see baked in results from it. They had a beta program. I don't know if you can sign up for it anymore. They're still slowly inviting people into it that had previously requested to join. And so, yeah, it's a slow process because video on a certain end of the programming spectrum, video is complicated, and they're looking at all this data and trying to get it all to work and work with Twitch and OBS, and it's a lot. So yeah, so that was our brief rabbit hole.
And there are other streams. If you go to YouTube, you can. I think you saved them on both YouTube, Twitch and YouTube, but I'll be real. YouTube is the better place for longevity and saving videos.
Mm-hmm.
DC has done a stream before that talks about the enhanced broadcast beta. It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
So if you really are looking for that deep dive, you can check out his streams as well. And also the other usual recommended people that you would normally watch do videos on this, but watch DC's first.
Yeah, mine's clearly better.
I didn't. I didn't say that
Yeah, you don't. That's
because he's not paying me. So
I'm duct tape and super glue. Those other people have money and can get edited videos, properly edited videos and things like that.
However, speaking of like finding you online, something that you've done recently is, I mean, not only just you using Doris. How are they actually? Have they said how to pronounce it?
I've been listening to their when they stream. I'm pretty sure it's Doris. I
Okay.
gotta look at it.
I mean, you're familiar, like, hopefully by now people are all familiar with sites like Card, CAARD, and Linktree and things like that. But I noticed that recently, DC, you have actually got your custom domain now pointing to your Doris.to. And it's listening to you talk about them in your Tech Friday streams. I'm appreciating how fast they are listening and learning and innovating and adding new features. And it sounds like they have added something new with their latest changelog. What's that about?
Yeah. So I saw them recommended on someone else's video. I checked them out, and I'm like, this is neat. This is stuff I've been looking for. And then I saw their roadmap for features. Now Doris is like 2 months old at this point, as far as being publicly available, and they're still kind of in a beta, so they are still innovating, doing more things. Like they just added a link shortener for Doris Pro users and all that. But what they did recently was something I used to use BioLink, and I was looking at Linktree for this, but being able to add multiple pages to your link in bio site. They just did that the other week, and I'm like, yay, I can do that because I have a lot of links, and I understand that some people may not, and I understand that I might be a little unique in this, but for organization, it's very handy, and we can go to a window. Oh, I got to click it over here. I didn't add a button.
You have too many buttons over there.
I
what
do.
Are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. So here's my site. You can see in my Twitch and YouTube stream on it right now because they're there. But as you can see here, we have
us.
It's us delayed in different things. So as you can see, we have socials, actual play, interviews, Notion templates, tech videos, and these are all my pages. And here's my email button because they added an email button. So you can just email me. This is on every single page. If you want to contact me, there it is. It's an email button, right? But you'll notice that these are also down here. Now, Story and Media Kit were defaults that they made that my understanding is they'll be removing, but they're here. But you click this little hamburger menu, and here's all the other ones here. So if you're looking at these, I can go to, interviews, click that, and it will flip over. And here's where I was on Chaotic Wholesome Events. Here's where I was quoted in Polygon. And again, email me. Right there. And so you just go down, and then on mobile, what you can do is you go down to the bottom, and you'll see something, a menu like this one on the bottom. Let me turn on the little pointer mouse. You'll see a menu like this, and you can just scroll it with your finger back and forth and get access to all the same information.
So the status of it right now, the custom pages, because I am very much a fan of custom pages. The custom pages, are they still like it looks? No, sorry, my brain again. I'm seeing that your custom pages are still like they're kind of link blocks.
Mm-hmm.
They did add the ability to do text blocks now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can make text blocks. You can make the image blocks as well. So I was thinking maybe for the pages, I make image just an image, and then that URL on that image block points to the page, and then the page itself, the links are their normal links. What I like about the normal links that they use is that when you hover over them, they grow bigger slightly, so you can tell where you are. But if I use an image block, that'd just be a static image. So,
Do they allow you to update your CSS yet?
no, that is coming.
Okay.
They
When they
have
do, I can tell you how to make anything do the thing on them.
awesome.
See, I'm a nerd and I have my own website. And while I don't use sites like this, I definitely tell everyone to either learn to use WordPress, learn to use Tumblr better, learn to use anything available to you, because having, like, I actually ended up seeing these sites and then copying that on my own blog. So if you go to urbanbohemian.com/contact, it kind of looks like a link tree and has a social media share. Um, but those text blocks are great because that would allow you to, you can put your pitch right there. You can say who you are, what you're all about. You can write a narrative, because some people don't want to go to your page that has all the links and then just to be told, look, go to another link. So for instance, DC has a link to him being interviewed in Polygon. He'd be able to create a text block that has the relevant quote, like the pull quote from him, that also links to the full article, because, like, you just want to see what cool thing he said in Polygon. You don't necessarily want to read the whole article, but now you have the option. I use mine. Oh, thank you. I use my bio page essentially is my sort of resume of all the stuff that I've done going back. It has all of my one shots, my panels, my interviews, and I love having all of that in one place and kind of easily accessible versus a list of links. So I would love, as you, DC, become more, like, as Doris makes more improvements and as you start playing more with your site, I'm gonna love to see what you're gonna do in terms of a combination of text and links.
Hmm.
I think we're now coming back around to the point where people like to read more online than they want a video. So give them stuff to read. They'll stick around. I promise. TikTok lied to you. People actually want to read. They don't want to watch video. Unless it's clips. Then,
Unless,
then
yeah,
go for it.
if it's short, everyone's on that. Um, yeah, I like them. They have a Discord. They've been fairly responsive. So, and there's 2 people programming this right now, and the total team's like 6 people. So it's a tiny team, but they're doing a lot of. I just thought they were doing a lot of neat things, and that's why I went with them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking at their change log, like, over time they have been making, sorry, why do we not share that with people? My bad. I'm falling behind on my guest duties. Looking at their change log, you can see what they've been doing over each release, and it really does tell a story of, hey, we made a thing, and somebody said, hey, make your thing better. Hey, you know what I'm really missing? Hey, you know what I'd love to see? And you can see that evolving in every release update. So that's very
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah, and like I said, I tried Linktree, and then I was like, oh well, there's stuff I didn't like about Linktree. And I went to bio.link, and I was waiting for features they said were coming, and a couple years later, they're still not there, and they don't have much of a social media presence. So I don't even know if I can reach out to them sometimes, because if you run a company, even a small one, do some social media every now and then. Let people know you're still in existence and there. Um, just a little
Well,
bit. Just don't make it like 5 months between a post.
otherwise, it's obvious that that's a choice.
Yeah.
Like, basically, it's obvious that that is a choice. You are not engaging, which I can't really blame companies for not wanting to engage in social
Oh,
media.
yeah.
But you do need to have at least some kind of avenue of contact that is so people can use and get a response. And usually social media is what we kind of go to as our default.
Yeah. So just getting the updates, and like I said, I while what they were doing just fit with what I needed. And
Mhm.
that's why I joined their affiliate. I'm like, okay, you guys are, they're younger, but they're having fun. They know what they're doing. They're playing with their code. They're trying different things. I'm like, this seems great. So that's why I'm also an affiliate for them. And there's the affiliate code, boo woo. So do the thing. Uh, I didn't select the code. They just give
Are
it
you
to.
sure you didn't
Yeah,
select the code?
yeah.
Because, but no, I think it's great to see that their development is moving quickly, and that they're understanding what their user base wants versus a lot of companies in this space that would just keep barreling forward with what they want to do.
Mhm.
And I we'll see what happens when they have that inevitable conversation of, this is costing us money. How do we make sure that we are charging our users an appropriate amount and also
Mhm.
allowing ourselves to make a profit or make enough profit to make improvements? But right now, they're doing stuff that is it's very simple with with enough complexity to, you can turn this into a professional looking website that still hosts all of your links. Like, here's how to find me. So yeah.
Yeah, and definitely check them out. And if they're not for you, there are plenty of other link in bio sites to go to for features and things like that. Um, Obviously,
Mm.
because I'm an affiliate, I'm going to just be plugging them constantly. But
That would make for an interesting future discussion, is a look at the link in bio sites, because they do range from the very simple to the very complex. A lot of magazines and TV networks now will use a very complex link in bio site from something like Instagram. Like, you'll click on the page and it will look like their Instagram, except there's the links for each story. So, which honestly, looking at Doris, you'd be able to do it. You wouldn't be able to automate it, but you would be able to say, "Oh, did you want more information? Click on the exact same picture that you saw over here, and here's all the stuff." So yeah, it's very cool.
yeah, yeah, it's delightful,
Mm.
and they're very
Speaking of making
responsive, which
image
I like.
blocks,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you because the image that I made for my contact page, to make sure that like, it's a WordPress featured image, but to make sure it's seen on social media, if you share it, I did build that in Canva, because it's very simple and easy to build stuff in Canva. And I I didn't really think Canva was this kind of company, but to see that they actually made an acquisition was a bit odd to me.
Yeah. So Canva purchased Affinity, which is a uh, popular Adobe alternative. So they have things like Photoshop and all the various imaging editing tools for essentially one price, and you're not doing a subscription model with Affinity. But yeah, Canva decided to buy them, which, like Herb, I didn't think they were in the acquisition business, I suppose.
Yeah. Um, they have said that if you had a perpetual license with Affinity, that will not change. It sounds like right now what Canva is going to do is they're going to roll a lot of those features in. They're not going to then market Affinity as its own product. But they have said that if you have a license, that will not be a problem. Um, Look, again, they're not paying for this stream or anything. Canva is very easy. They have done the thing that I don't always like with companies, where they have constantly given you all of this stuff for free and then slowly hidden more and more things behind a paywall. Their current political stance is not great, and their current stance on the responsible responsible advance of generative AI is also not great. So it's hard for me to tell anyone, "Oh yeah, just use Canva," because there's a lot of reasons now why you might not want to use Canva. Um, So it's interesting because Affinity never added like AI stuff into their products, whereas Adobe did like right off the bat. So I'm really curious how that's going to go, because every time I use Canva now, it is definitely nagging me like, hey, don't you just want to type a few sentences in and let us make you a picture? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Why would anybody like, look, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just trying to make a cute flyer for Twitter. I don't need like you to make up pandas wearing tutus on unicycles or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's there, but I just ignore it because it's nothing I want.
Yeah. Um, but it does, this launches Canva to be a bigger contender if they have Affinity, because that's like Affinity is, yeah, you don't want to pay for Adobe products. The Affinity Suite's what you want. So it's interesting. Hmm.
Yeah. And chat, if you have any questions on anything we're talking about or have talked about, please put them in. Now's the time to get your questions in.
Okay, we talked about Canva not being an acquisition kind of person, but apparently I have not been paying attention.
Oh, wow.
I have not been paying attention. The last one is most interesting to me because I used Pixabay a lot, and I just thought that everybody was licensing into them, but no, having them purchase that explains their image library, because their actual photo library and their photo library and their library of things is extensive, and I've wondered where that comes from. Except I've seen those same photos elsewhere. So yeah, okay, um, yeah, huh. They're gobbling up companies. All right.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Look at that.
I do worry. I think also, ignoring all the other stuff, which you shouldn't ignore, but only for the purpose of this conversation. I'm wondering what this is going to do for the average Canva user, which I tend to feel is a more casual user. They are
Mm-hmm.
not, they're not building, some of them are doing brand kits, some of them are doing complete campaigns, but most of them are like, I just need a quick background for my Instagram reels, or I just need a logo, a template for my TikTok story. Like, I don't feel the majority of them are hardcore users that are designing major, photo manipulation type stuff in Canva. So it's going to be interesting to see again when this user base that's used to a much more advanced and experienced product comes in to these people who are used to just making like a happy Easter poster. How
Mm-hmm.
is that going to move going forward?
Yeah. How much does it become useful features or feature bloat? And
Mm. So yeah, um, it's cool because I mean, I'm guessing it just means that maybe the things we make we can add like a little extra touch of quality to it. But again, with Canva, it's the kind of thing where you can tell somebody used Canva. Like even as different as we all make our things, you can tell somebody used Canva for it. So I don't think that's going to go away.
yeah. I mean, I definitely use Canva. The flyer for this very show was made in Canva because I can just go in. I already have kind of a template designed, and I can just change some things around and be done with it, and not have to worry about it. And it looks decent,
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh goodness.
All right. Did you want, before we get into this next topic, did you want to talk about any other Logitech camera things?
Um, no, I mean, I mentioned the MX Brio because it is their latest. But again, just like the Facecam M2, Logitech's MX Brio is their latest attempt at saying, "Hey, person who needs to do video calls, this camera will make you look better." They also have similar FOM field of view and angle things, but they do not have the specificity that the Elgato software has. And of course, I'm also wondering now, like, why don't they? They really should. Because anyway, um, but no, I'm happy. I don't have my visual aids because I have my other Mevos, but this is a new. They went they swung for the fences with this new device. This
Yeah.
new Mevo they've got. It's like the Mevo Core. It's a 4K wireless streaming camera, swappable lenses, and it's interesting because I've had Mevo wireless cameras before, and I've even had multiple ones. So you are able to have them in, you kind of have them in sync. You have software you can use to manage different angles. And what's interesting is I also looked a lot at their consumer groups, and a lot of it isn't people who are streaming like Twitch. They're not streaming games. A lot of it is people who are setting up for events. Church and baseball games, like baseball leagues, are a huge thing. Like I want to have multiple angles for streaming church in this, and they're great for that. Um, they connect to Wi-Fi, or you can also connect them like to a wired network. You can actually plug them directly into a computer, and then they act as a normal webcam. So they're nice. But I felt like for again the average Twitch streamer, unless you're doing a lot of crafting, live, outdoor type stuff, these aren't really for you. This new Mevo Core feels like the first camera that they're saying, just like the Facecam MK2, you got a DSLR, this maybe can replace that, or at the least stand in for it for a wireless thing. And, wireless is really the big pull here because who else? What am I thinking? GoPro. Um, Before Mevo, GoPro was pretty much here's the wireless camera that you kind of need on the go, but it's mostly just for recording locally, kind of thing. So I
And,
like the look of it. It's very pretty.
yeah. It's small. It's expensive, and then you have
Mhm.
to have your own lenses. Which,
Yes.
if you don't already have a lens, those are a lot of money. Um,
Yeah. Oh goodness. What did the Mevo Core is you may already have lenses that work. What do they call um
Full frame?
four no four
No.
fifths
Oh,
micro four
eh,
thirds.
yeah.
So yeah, you may already have lenses that fit it, but you may not. What I find interesting is it can do NDI, HDMI out, and yeah, it's like 4K, but again, 30 frames per second, which most people would want 60 for a camera that is fixed. But if you are on the go, you may be able to be just fine, depending. But I think most of us would see like that, you know, 1080 30 and be like 30, really? Huh.
Hmm.
But records at higher, yeah. But it streams at 1080 30, yeah.
And related to this, the other thing I'm particularly interested in, and we talked a little bit about this before the show, is one their multicam app, which they say you won't necessarily need Mevo cameras to use, but you can connect various cameras to it, and then you have all your camera angles in one app, and then you can feed that signal to something like OBS, which is handy because you could have it all on your phone or a tablet, and just have that as your camera selection, and then have OBS just grab, go, oh, okay, you're on this camera now, yay, and you can have all the OBS stuff, that you need.
Yeah. There's a link to the multi-camera app there. I have used that, and what they do is they actually link to a food creator because when you're doing food, you're going to want to have multiple angles. You're going to want to have the shot on you, the shot on your workspace, the shot that's in the oven or on the stove. Um, I did like a joking video with these where I had one camera in the fridge. So like when I would open the fridge, like the light comes on, I'm looking for stuff. And having the app is nice because it has preset angles and switching. They've now added intelligent switching. You can control the mixer from so each of them also do record sound, and you're able to control that. And their sound recording isn't bad. It's just it's not you're not speaking directly to the camera because it's somewhere else, so you probably don't need that. But at the end of it, I was able to use the multi-camera app. It gave me my 3 video streams and audio separately. So I'm able to do anything with that that I need to. Um, so it's nice if you can come up with a good use case for it.
Hmm.
And as DC said, if they open up that app to not just Mevos, but any NDI camera, that's going to that's going to allow people a level of production that you would normally have had to have bought cameras that specifically do this for. Um, you know, like I'm thinking about when I see more professional media productions, like if you could do that with a room full of people sitting in front of webcams versus needing actual professional, that'd be really fun. So yeah, it's a cool innovation, which again, you really need to be able to sit down and figure out, okay, how am I going to use this? How am I going to make this happen? Versus just something you play with.
Hmm. And yeah, once you get into NDI stuff, that can get complicated, especially if you're looking outside of your own network. Inside, you're doing it in your house. That's going to be a lot easier than talking someone through how to connect the NDI and making sure their firewall is, has the ports open so that the signal can come to you, and a whole bunch of other things. But once you get it set up, apparently it's great. But it just it it yeah, it takes a bit of tech know-how to get it going. So if I ever get to that point where I'm using NDI, I will definitely have videos on it.
My brain just slipped into your like producer brain for a moment there to realize how if NDI is working again, the as has been said several times, the producer would need to have strong internet, but it would give you a much bigger range of flexibility for your layouts, for your scene switching, because each person would just be a source versus having to
Hmm.
clip them out of Zoom. That, oh yeah, that's a. Mhm. I'm also now thinking about a way in OBS to make it a little easier on producers for that, but I will talk to you about that later.
All right, that'd be great.
Because I'm just like, wait a second, why aren't we just making, instead of making the camera as a source in the scene, why don't we just make multiple scenes that are only that part of the screen?
Hmm.
Then you always have your, I'm not a producer. So, like, and I also don't have business internet. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if I would love to test like getting my configuration set up to become an NDI camera and just to compare that versus Zoom versus Stream Together and see like the flexibility and ease and honestly, drain because I think the main thing that we had with the web versions is that they are just everybody's outputting the same amount and pulling down the same amount.
Hmm.
Whereas with something like Zoom, which is centrally located, you're really only worrying about what you're pushing out. Like your upstream, the person who is doing it all needs to go downstream. So I'm curious if that would actually make it easier to hang out with folks. And if there's a way to tell everybody, here's the easy way to set up NDI, that's a video I'd love to see. So
Yeah.
if you'd like to see a video like that, make sure to donate to DC's Ko-Fi so he can get a teleprompter so that the video is smooth. Because if it's not, I will judge him. Not like a lot, just like a little
Little judgy.
bit.
Yeah, and there are other protocols to do this, and there are other plugins for OBS as well. There's a NDI plugin for OBS. There's
Mhm.
you can also use built into OBS. I think there's a protocol called WIP, which does something similar. And so there's all these various ways to do it. And I've watched a few NDI videos, and I can't quite wrap my head around every part of it yet. So that's why I do this, because I can't wrap my head around it. I'm guessing other people have the same problem. So I will take the hammer at the wall and try to break it down for everybody. Um,
um, I'm trying to see if I can find. I know I did. Oh, um, yeah, I did a stream that had that was using the 3 cameras and the NDI and swapping between them, and, um, this is just a let me just grab a clip of it, so you can kind of see hopefully the preview has essentially, I was flipping between 3 different cameras at the time and, would have one point at the stove, one point at the counter, one point at me, and I would have 3 different scenes that I was able to move them around in, because that's really, like, the thing is you wanna be able to swap those scenes, you wanna be able to if I were using the multicam app while streaming, then I would have been able to also save each of those individual video and audio streams later. So if I wanted to then professionally edit it together, I could. Um, but for streaming, it's a whole like it really is. Are you recording because you want to get multiple camera angles on a thing that you're recording, or do you just want to be able to swap around while you're streaming? You know,
Yeah, and another thing you'd have to think about with NDI, like with Zoom and other things, there's a built-in background chat. NDI, you don't get that. It's you're getting separate feeds, but you have no way of, and that's great if you're the only one combining them. That's fantastic. That's great for remote stuff and everything like that. And then you can talk to one person, but when one person has to talk to a lot of people to know what's going on, like in an actual play stream, you now need a separate thing or a separate chat or something where you can talk to people. And because the person on the other end can't necessarily see all the other camera angles either. You're basically, if you're the producer, you're the only one seeing everything, and they don't have a way to do that necessarily on the other end. So something like an AP, actual play, probably maybe a different solution comes out, and that's where stuff like Video Ninja and maybe what Twitch is doing with the guest star thing come into play a bit, because you can have those separate angles and everyone can see everybody and talk to and know what's going on.
yeah, that is sort of the final boss for APs, and just any panel, just any show like this. I have done this before with DC where I could not see him and I was just looking at the stream chat, but it is a much more natural and organic interplay if I can see him at the same time. So, yeah, while it'd be fun for a professional if they had all of our cameras as NDIs, it would not be great for the performers unless we were doing very specific non-interacting stuff. It would not be great for us. Like we would still need some way to hear each other and talk to each other. Um, so not, it's again, it's an interesting, if you're doing, I could see if you were doing like, everyone is playing the same video game, like you're doing a speed run with 20 different streamers, and all of them can send their output to you as NDI, and you can have one stream with all their games on it because you're not flipping around to them and talking to
Hmm.
them, and they don't need to see anybody else. Um, but yeah, something like where you need that interaction with humans, because we're definitely humans and not AI generated avatars. Definitely not.
Nope.
That would definitely that you would want something. So I feel like we're still, I mean, you've also done a lot of panels and talks about producing. I still feel like we're still looking for that one great piece of tech that can solve problems, free or
Hmm.
paid.
Yeah, and I do like stuff Video Ninja's doing, but it depends on, it's peer to peer, so it depends on everybody's internet. And the guy did release because Video Ninja is like one guy. Uh, they did release sort of a network, right? That or I can't. So Zoom Video goes to a server, right? So he launched a kind of a private server thing where if someone's having trouble, you can point them to the server and then get the signal that way, and it'll
Okay.
be more stable like Zoom. Problem is, he's one guy and it costs him money. to do this. And he's not charging for it currently.
Ugh, yeah.
So he's like, yeah, if you're doing more than 8 people, I would rather you not use the server. If you're doing anything under 8, that's fine. So a lot of APs would probably be okay. But yeah, maybe someday he'll get around to, going, oh yeah, I need to charge for this so I don't lose all my money. And
right. That, or, even partnering with a service that we can pay. Like, I could just pay for server space for, the, let's say 30 hours I'm going to need it for, for my 15 episodes kind of thing. So yeah, that's cool. It's a nice, I'm still astonished and amazed by how that we can do any of this at all.
oh yeah, this is
The fact that like my computer can kind of become a TV studio is already pretty impressive. The fact that we can now put on shows with people asynchronously, and it's like all of this is fine, and that we are doing the most with what we have. The minute anything is a little better, yeah, we'll jump on it. But I still feel like, I I did briefly see some conversations about how, actual plays need to change and be innovative. And I kind of was like, we are doing the absolute most with what we've got.
Mhm.
Like, we don't have in studio production money. So yeah, you're going to see our faces in boxes because like that's the best we can manage without having tens of thousands of dollars at our disposal.
Yeah, and there
If you
are
have tens of thousands of dollars, please call me.
talk to us. We're good. Uh,
It's that extra reassurance that's going to convince them.
Yep.
That's I will simply say DC does have a history in actual actual TV and media production. So if you were looking for somebody to bestow resources on or test something out, he would actually have the expertise to know how to use it.
Yeah, or figure it out. I mean,
I'd be able to just take pretty pictures of it, get social media in on it. But yeah,
yeah, that's why I kind of glommed onto OBS, because when I used analog stuff for TV, OBS and my brain went, oh, we know what this is. We understand how to use this. This is like this button here. This is like this button. And oh yeah, we can combine this. So this is also a audio switcher. We know how to use an audio mixer, right? Yeah. So, and this just kind of puts it all into one. Okay, cool. And I went from there.
Oh yeah. I do think it's funny when we talk about streaming software, there are people who made easier interfaces. Twitch made an app that was put your camera, put your microphone, and tell me what you're sharing, and then push one button. It couldn't do a whole lot else, but it was easy. Same with Streamlabs, and then Streamlabs OBS, which is now again Streamlabs, and everybody was kind of appropriately so a little scared of OBS because it's a lot until you sit down, take the time, and realize what it can do and what you need it to do versus what you don't need it to do. I'm sure I'm still not using OBS to its fullest degree, but I don't need to, and that's all there is.
Yeah. And going back to actual plays, there are things that I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, but some of what I want to do requires more time of a cast to be there, have their internet on, have cameras, because it requires some setup, and you just can't do that. Yeah, it's not like a studio where you can just kind of set up a camera. Someone has to be live, present, connect to your internet or however you're making that connection, and then because then I could do more multiple angles, but that's hard to get in when you only have 30 minutes before a show.
Yeah, 30 minutes has become our standard. The game that I'm in, there's a one shot happening tomorrow, and they said, oh well, we want you to show up 15 minutes early so our producer can fit you in. And I know I had a visible reaction of laughing because every other person on the call was like, we'll be there 30 minutes early. Don't
Yeah.
like
Right.
don't ever tell somebody 15 minutes is all you need, because it is not true.
No. And even if you find yourself with time, check everything. You can check all your buttons, make sure they work before you hit go live. Use that time. And truthfully, it took me a while to get down to being able to efficiently cut people into windows and place them and still have time to do other things. Like when I was first doing it, though, I was dealing with, 6, 7 people, not just 4 or 5. And each person is like 2 minutes of time to put into that window. So, suddenly 2 times 8 is 16. I I don't have 30 minutes anymore to check out their stuff.
I've got to get a cutout of myself to leave, to start, like, so I can actually just sign on the call and leave a cardboard cutout of myself. Like, here's where I'm going to just, when I actually get there, nudge me like 1 or 2 pixels to the left or right. But this is pretty much me.
Just get a stick with a hat and go on about the stuff.
But yeah, I did not mean to derail us into actual play production.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the Mevo, but to kind of bring it back around to like the Mevo and the multi-cameras, and it's the same kind of thing that you're going to have to think of if you're going to start using a multi-camera setup, and that is, where do they go? How do I switch them? How do I do my scenes? And I want to lean into, and I should be better about this, using those cameras to record, because they each record to either local or an SD card, and then taking that video and stitching it all together. So that's what I need to look more for. Yeah, but otherwise, it's just, again, this is cool technology. That the hardest part is realizing this cool technology is not for everybody, even though they're going to market it to everybody. And something seems really cool and shiny and great. You don't need that. You can do exactly what you're doing with what you have. They just need to hit the widest market possible, so that hopefully somebody will buy this $3,000 camera.
Yeah. And sorry, I messed up your name completely. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to stop myself right there. Thank you both for doing this. It's been very informative. He'll soon be searching for pandas wearing tutus riding unicycles. Yeah.
It's the first prompt. I'm going to say, like, I copyrighted that prompt and I got any of my money. And it's kind of upsetting because it's like the default now, and I'm not getting anything from that. So yeah, enjoy it.
Oh, that was delightful.
Oh goodness. People say I'm not chaotic. I don't know where they get that.
Okay.
Yeah, we go ahead, because we've talked about a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, we
talked about travel tech. We talked like the stuff that you take when you go to a convention, especially we were talking convention mostly, but just stuff you take to travel to make things easier for your devices. We talked about the Elgato prompter, the fact that they've now added voice recognition to the prompter software, so you can kind of dictate direct to the prompter and see it. We talked about their new Facecam M2, which is now their 1080p 60 HDR webcam, which they are weirdly almost kind of advertising over the Facecam Pro, even though it's an interesting in their range. And then Doris.to added in some custom pages, so you're able to now add even more features. And if you just look at their changelog, like, again, you can see they've been doing the most for something that's been out and developed for only 2 months, which is just a lot. We talked about conglomerates doing conglomerate stuff. They literally glom stuff. Is that where we got glom from? Was it conglomerate? Probably not. But Canva bought Affinity, which I'm sure will make one set of users a little upset, probably. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm just waiting for Canva to all of a sudden look like Photoshop, and I'm like, okay, I'm out. This is too many things for me. I want it.
Mhm.
I need like my little Fisher Price. Here's how to do your stuff. I don't want the Photoshop in there. Um, and we ended on talking about Mevo and their new Mevo. What is, I forgot the name of the new one. The Core.
Yeah,
The new
core.
Core,
Yeah.
which is a 1080p. It's a 4K actually. Sorry, 4K wireless streaming camera. Um, the camera itself is 4K. It can stream up to 1080p, 30 frames per second. But if you're using it to record, that's going to be like the big brain move, is using this if you have multiple ones to record multiple angles on stuff and then edit that video down. Because as DC said earlier, if you're just recording something and you want to upload it to YouTube, record it in 4K. Um, with the enhanced broadcast, eventually you may be able to do less strain on OBS and record and stream in 4K. But if you're just recording something, record it in 4K. Clear up that hard drive space and record it in 4K.
Hmm. Yeah, and then YouTube takes care of all that transcoding to other things. So if someone can't watch it at 4K, they can just click the gear and go to what works for them. But even if you're recording at 4K and then you're looking at it at 720p, that image will be can look better than just straight 720p or something like that.
Oh, but yeah, I mean that's we went over a lot.
Yeah. It was a big episode. So eventually we'll cut it down, put it on YouTube. That might not happen this weekend because it is my birthday weekend, and I may not want to think about editing over this weekend.
Smart. Treat yourself.
Yeah. And so, yeah, if anyone has questions while we wrap up, and we can fit in maybe another one or two while we go through all our things. But Herb, tell people where they can find you, what they're doing, what you're doing, and all the fun things.
Hi, I am Urban Bohemian, and I did not practice my content creator speech. So you can find me pretty much everywhere at Urban Bohemian. On TikTok, there's a little underscore. It's all good. I mostly post on Twitter, and I mostly stream on Twitch. I will be streaming this weekend, Saturday and Sunday morning on my channel. It's early in the morning, so don't feel like you have to get up. And this weekend, because I am currently raising money for Salal Sexual Violence Support Center, they are streaming for survivors, and I'm currently raising money for them for charity. But I am also going to be in a D&D 101 panel that is being broadcast tonight. Actually, let me get the links for all the events because I forgot to do that. I'm good. I know how to do stuff. I totally do. There is the Streaming for Survivors page, and it actually has information on all of the workshops. But today, what is this PST? I don't know what time zone this is, so I apologize. But it's happening tonight on their Twitch channel. It will be a recorded panel about D&D 101. It's more than a game. And then tomorrow on the Hero Force channel at that's PT. So sorry, tonight at 6 o'clock Pacific, so 9 p.m. Eastern. And then tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be on the Hero Force channel with myself, V Muse, Lauren Urban, and Carolyn Page, and led by GM Holly Conrad. And we're going to have a fun one shot. And we've gotten some info on it, and I'm not going to tell you anything about it because it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, you can catch me pretty much there, and then in various one shots and occasional one shots here where DC tortures me with food puns.
And there's more coming. So,
yay!
We'll get to that in a minute. So I'm DC. You can find me everywhere. DCLasair.com. DCLASAIR.com. !DC into my chat. You can type in it on Twitch or YouTube. It'll come up magically because links work like that and StreamerBot's magic. And that's powered by Doris, which we talked a lot about. And I have an affiliate link with there. So if you decide to use them, please sign up with my affiliate link and use the code UWOO to get yourself some bucks off. It's right now about $3 per month. So use that UWU code, get 70% off Doris Pro for 3 months. That's good. Love the emote. And then also, it's my birthday tomorrow. You may have heard somewhere. If you'd like to contribute to me getting a prompter, right up there, go to my Ko-fi, and contribute to that. And starting next month, starting in April, so probably on Monday when I come back to stream again, I will be fundraising for Take This. Take This is a 501(c) that provides mental health resources for a wide variety of things. They are responsible for the AFK rooms at the various PAXs, and they are having a bit of a funding issue and could really use our help. So if you can do that, go to takethis.org, and they have a page to go to funding. Like I said, I'll be doing a charity thing, and then May 4th, which is Free Comic Book Day, and May the 4th be with you and all that. But I'll have a charity stream with Herb.
Did I say yes to that?
Maybe. I don't know. Did you?
I don't know. Let me go check my calendar. I don't know.
We'll have a charity stream again for Take This. It'll be a D&D one shot. It'll be food related. It'll be spectacular. Sometimes I don't think I can top myself in the weirdness that I do between these streams, but I think I have again. Just get it in now. Get the meditation in.
I've been watching a lot of Delicious in Dungeons, so I may be prepared. I also just saw that they released that deck of cards, which I'm hoping that maybe I get a hold of with interesting food ideas. So I might be ready for a food adventure, or I might just be done with the whole thing and be obstinate the entire time. One or the other. It's fine.
One or the other. So get your free comic books in the morning, and then come to my channel on May 4th, and enjoy a stream. And then you have free comics and a stream. Amazing. Look at all the entertainment we're just providing.
It's a pretty good deal.
Or yeah. Free comics and a stream. I can probably sell that as an event somewhere. And also in May, I'm hoping to do this in May. I want to do a weekend mini convention. It'll just be 5 panels, a Friday and Saturday, about the background labor in actual play, and dividing it up among producing and community management and moderating and other things involved in that. Because as I was talking at my panel at GaryCon, and afterwards, I was starting to realize that, I do need to do more of this online. And I think having a little weekend, again, benefiting Take This, just going to benefit Take This as much as possible, because I want to see them keep going. And I think that'd be useful for a lot of people who can't make conventions. Just get those in. So look for that. It'll all be on my socials. Herb, anything else? We're wrapping up.
No, I don't have anything else going on. As I said, sorry, I was once again not ready. But yeah, if you would like to show up and support Streaming for Survivors, come by the twitch.tv/Salal SVSC today at 6 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, to watch our D&D 101 channel. It's more than a game, and we do talk about basics of D&D. And then tomorrow, twitch.tv/Hero Forge at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, for a fun one-shot. And all of that is benefiting, it's benefiting and helping survivors of sexual assault. They provide healing, therapy, a crisis lifeline. They accompany them to the hospital. They do a lot of good services, and that's what our stuff this weekend is going to be about. And yeah, I'll be on my own streams tomorrow morning and Saturday and Sunday morning, which I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I kind of got the Magic the Gathering bug, so I might be playing some MTG Arena and getting my butt kicked by the computer, but we'll see.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being here once again. Really appreciate it, especially for the pre-birthday Tech Friday stream. So yay! And thank you all for being here. We are going to go on a raid. Let me find a raid target. Come back here on Monday because I will be streaming a video game. I'm not sure which one I'm going to be playing right now. Maybe Stardew. Maybe I go back to Ultros. Maybe it's something completely different. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably wait until Monday afternoon to decide. Getting that content prepared and ready to go right away.
Let's see. We will not have another Friday, March 29th until 2030. So, if you missed this pre-birthday Tech Friday stream, then you're going to have to wait 6 years to see another one. So,
yeah. And by then, who knows, my AI model will have completely changed and grown.
But still have a hat.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually the hardest for my programming to render.
It's because of the shadowing. Because the problem you have to track where the light is, and then it has to keep doing the shadows on your face. Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, thank you all for being here. This will be up on YouTube sometime next week, and either that or check out the VOD because that'll be available as soon as I hit stop streaming. And I really do appreciate everyone here, and thanks everyone who has donated so far to the prompter goal. And we will go on a raid. We will be raiding. Let's see who is on right now. Oh, we could go raid Panda. Awkwardish Panda, by the way, is an award-winning mini painter. She won 2 awards at Adepticon to the Golden Demon. So I'm not sure what that means, but it's apparently very impressive.
That sounds impressive, but also dangerous. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, but yes, she's a multi-award-winning miniature painter. Right now, she's playing. She's painting Warhammer minis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that'll be great. So stay tuned for that. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you on Monday. Go to Herb's channel later tonight. I'm sorry, what was the channel for later tonight?
Sorry. It'll be Salal. Oops. There we go. Just there we go. Salal SVSC. It'll be on their channel. And honestly, if you just keep an eye out on my social media, I'll post a link there. And then also keep an eye out on DC's social media because I will bully him into retweeting it on his own channel.
I'll make sure to retweet and also join Herb on their own channel on Saturday and Sunday mornings for great video game content and chill times as you're waking up and the sun is bright and in your eyeballs. And
yeah, don't look at the sun. Watch me instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful Friday. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and especially you, DC, happy birthday. I hope that it is a fantastic weekend of not thinking about doing anything.
Yeah. Couple more thoughts in that I have to think hard enough to hit the button and go on the raid. So I'll let those be the
you're not. That's not until tomorrow. You still have to think tonight.
Yeah, true.
The rules. Yeah,
the rules. So we'll see you all later. Thanks for being here. Stay tuned for the raid. Bye.
Bye, everyone.